What's up, y'all, man? We got to have a discussion today. I just got through putting a little stain on the deck, little deck correct this type of situation. You know, the deck is old and weathered. So, I don't know if you see behind me. Looks pretty good. I'm going to put another little coat on there. But it took me a while because it was, it was a mess. But in the background of this video, you're going to see various amounts of work and different things going on because I wanted to cover something, man. We got to start looking at work and the way we live differently, because for some reason a lot of us are just wasting so much time, which I look at it, if you watch my videos, man, you see that I got a little bit of a science background as far as the work that I've done and math and going to school for math and different things like that. So a lot of times I think in terms of math or science, right? And I feel like the way people live and move and whether they, try to start a business or not, is they're living either in a state of potential or kinetic energy, right? So if you remember, basically potential energy is stored energy. Like for instance, if I hold the cell phone up like this, it's a bunch of potential energy, right? The energy doesn't get realized, it doesn't become kinetic until I let it go. We're talking about the mind today. Right? We're talking about the mentality, and that potential energy, no matter what it is, it's just stuck. It's stuck inside of this thing until something acts upon it. Like I said, gravity is trying to act upon it, but until I let it go, nothing happens. You know what I'm getting at. I know you know what I'm getting at, man. Y'all gotta act upon something. Now, I'm in the handyman business. As you see, you see what's going on. You see me doing all sorts of different kinds of work and there's things that I've learned over the years, but I didn't start out knowing how to do any of this stuff. I had to, learn most of it on my own. So many of y'all are living in a state of potential energy. It's just energy that's stored up, it's just building up, but you never actually do anything with it, right? And the issue for me with that is like, man, if you really believe that you got one life, that you gonna live once and that's it, what are you holding on to it for? I mean, what you want to see another podcast? Is that it? Is that another podcast that's going to give you the motivation? I have a lot of people that ask me, where do you get the skills from to do this kind of work? And you might not be trying to do this kind of work, right? This thing, what I'm talking about, it just applies to everything. It doesn't have to be just handyman work. It applies to whatever you want to. You might want to run a food truck. You might want to, I don't know, you might want to become a hairstylist. I don't know what you want to do. Have no idea. If you want to gain skills, you're going to have to do it in a couple ways. You're either going to have to go through, some sort of training or watch videos, something like that, or you're going to have to be taught by somebody else, but eventually you're going to have to work with your hands and actually do the thing. And you're just going to have to learn. Now, you might not be good at it at first, right? I was very fortunate. For some reason, and we'll talk about, we'll go into divine intervention some other time, because I'm gonna really go in on that. But for some reason, I always knew that I was good with working with things like that, with working with my hands, with building things and all that. But even though I never really did it, I didn't do it growing up. But it seems like when I got my mind to do a project, if I had to fix the car, if I had to do something, I could always do it. I could always do it and get it done, no matter if I'd never done it before. I had the ability to do that. But the thing is, I always tried. I tried to do something. Sitting around thinking about what you're gonna do all the time is great. It's great. Like plotting and planning is wonderful. But at some point, you're gonna have to act upon the thing that you wanna do. It takes me back to being a kid, right? I remember just trying to figure out how to make money. And it wasn't because we were destitute or whatever. We didn't have much money, even though my father was military. That's a whole nother story. But we didn't have a lot of money. But my parents were like, nah, if certain things you want, you got to figure out how to get it yourself. Like, we're not just going to be buying this kind of stuff all the time. So I was always in my mind. I wasn't irritated or nothing. I was like, okay, so if I want these things, I got to figure out how to get money. How do I do that? But I didn't sit on it, even as a kid. That's how I used to collect baseball cards and stuff. But then I realized that, man, some people make money off of this, right? Then I started getting the Beckett's, and I'm looking in, I'm trying to figure out how to Okay, how can I get this card and collect this one and trading people? I was just on a mission to try to figure out how to make money. I did the same thing with comic books. And even though I love comic books and I love reading them and collecting them, I was still trying to figure out, okay, go in the store. And back then, there's comic book stores everywhere. So I used to try to go in and, man, can I get somebody for somebody? Maybe it'll be worth money one day. I got all the wrong ones though. I could have got like when they created X-Men, could have got like the number 1. Nah, but I did get like New Mutants number 100, the final edition. Who knew it wasn't going to be worth anything? Who knew? But I was trying to figure it out. But I'm saying, I was in a state of kinetic energy. You know what I'm saying? I was moving. I was just doing stuff. I was just always looking and trying to do things to figure out the next move. And I did the same thing as an adult. This business that I started, it didn't just start from me sitting around and then one day, boom, I got an idea, let me start this. No, I started it in phases. And the first one, I thought about it years ago, and then I finally got a truck. Even the way, divine intervention, no, I'm telling you, the way I got the truck, it's a whole nother story, but we're not gonna get into that. I got the truck, it was still 2 more years before I started the business, right? I still had to be pushed, but I was moving in the direction. I was always moving in some sort of direction. I took real estate classes at one time. I was always looking for something, trying to figure out the next move. And then when I ended up doing this business, I just put my all into it, moving, just in motion, out doing stuff, learning new things, learning things at home. You want to know some of the ways that I got the skills in what I do? Say something like crown molding. I've said this a million times. I used to get pieces of crown and I would take them home, like broken pieces or whatever from Lowe's. They used to have something called coil carts. They probably still do, but they used to sell, like, if there's like a twisted piece or a broken piece of crown, nobody's ever gonna want it. They sell it for like $1. I would take the broken crown pieces and just cut them and then coat, cut them and then coat until I learned how to coat. And I learned how to coat multiple ways. I learned how to coat with a jigsaw. I learned how to coat with just a regular coping saw. And then with MDF, I learned how to coat that with a grinder, right? So, but I just practiced. It wasn't anything, I didn't have any crown jobs. I just practiced. When I was learning tile, and back then there was no resources on YouTube. There was one dude from Canada, I remember seeing his videos, but he was gonna give you just enough, a taste, and he wanted you to buy his course. I remember the guy, but I learned enough from his house to do my first bathroom was my own bathroom in my house. He didn't use spacers or anything. He was just looking, and this wasn't even when they had the leveling systems, and now it's like cheating. Like the leveling systems are just insane. So my first floors I was doing there was no leveling system or anything, but I was just practicing. Man. That was it. The NTCA. They used to have the National Tile Contractors Association. Pretty sure that's what it is. But they used to have free classes all over the place around the country for contractors to come in and just learn something. And I did. I would go in. I remember being the only person from my area driving an hour to get to the class. And I remember being the only handyman there. Being a bunch of contractors, but I met some good people up there and learned. But then that's what it was all about, was learning, man. You have to just learn, whether it's on your own or whatever. But whatever it is, you gotta be in a state of kinetic energy. What kills me the most is that we see what's going on in society. We see people losing jobs left and right. People getting laid off all the time. And it seems like there's a lot of people that are literally just waiting to get laid off, right? Or they're doing DoorDash, doing delivery services, and then sitting complaining about the pay, which you might have a gripe. I'm not saying that, you shouldn't try to get your situation right, but I am saying that you don't really have a skill, and that you need to get a skill. You need to get some sort of skill, and maybe you can freelance with it and make some money with it. If you're sitting up there and you're a software engineer, there has to be something you can maybe take some of your skills and maybe try to freelance with it. Do something with it. But right now, everybody's just sitting with all this potential energy, just sitting around, just waiting for somebody to make the decision for them whether they're going to be able to pay their mortgage next month or not. I can't live like that, y'all. This is why all this stuff in the background, something as simple as this deck, and believe it, this deck was a lot of work. Maybe I'll show you how it looked when I started. There was mud and all kind of stuff on here, man. It was rough. But I'm telling you, there's all sorts of things out here you can learn how to do. I'm about what I do and the construction industry as a whole, but that might not be your thing. So to all y'all that are just sitting around just thinking and planning and plotting and never actually moving towards getting something accomplished, maybe you don't even realize it. You're just becoming one of those professional students, right? And then you get all the skills, but now you got to go into business school and start going and watching, I don't know, every Alex Hormozy video they ever put on YouTube. You just need to do something. All that other stuff is great, but you just need to make a move. Think about potential anyway. You know, potential is, if you think about it, it's only good for when you're little. If somebody sees you playing basketball or sees your grades and how good you are in science and math, and oh man, this kid got a lot of potential. Oh man, they see you in college and you're young and this and that. Oh man, this kid, all this potential, man, like, yeah, he's gonna be great. It's not received the same when you're 30 and when you're 40. It's just like, man, this dude got all the potential in the world, but that's how it goes. After like 35, that's it. Then potential goes from being an extremely positive thing to a negative thing because it's just potential. Eventually, you gotta turn into kinetic energy, or it's just wasted energy. It's just stored up. It's just a waste. It's a total waste. So whatever it is, get out there and do something. Don't live in a state of potential energy. Get into the state of kinetic energy. Put all the things that you have up here, put all those tools to use. Stop letting other people choose your future for you. And look, I can't guarantee you anything. Nobody can guarantee you anything. Nobody can guarantee that you'll be successful at business. It just doesn't happen. Nobody can guarantee that, right? You want to get on YouTube and make some videos or start trying to grow social media, whatever. There's nobody that can guarantee you that it's going to work out for you. But you have to try. If you don't try, what are we talking about, right? Then just be okay with whatever happens to you, because that's what you're making the decision to do. All right, you gotta live with the results. Get into that state of kinetic energy, man. You'll thank me for it, I promise you. Daryl, also known as the finisher. Stay safe, be blessed, and remember, if the trades don't work, nothing else does.